Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action, and you guys are gonna hate me, but yeah, I wanted to try out the new Amethyst Wizard, and because I am secretly a terrible person, immediately my mind went to the worst possible place. So we've got Balthazar Gelt here with Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust, and Searing Doom here, as well as an Amethyst Wizard with just Spirit Leech. So yeah, that should be some fun. We're up against the Greenskins, of course, who have no recourse against this whatsoever. Front line is Spearmen, second line is a Free Company Militia. We've got a Steam Tank, 4 units of Empire Knights, and 2 Pistoliers. For the Greenskins, hapless victim, Lord, we have this Gobbo Big Boss here, some Boar Riders, a couple units of Boars, a unit of Boar Boys, yep, regular Boar Boys, Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, a front line of some Orc Boys mixed with Goblins, some Orc Error Boys, Night Goblin Shaman, we've got some Squigs as well, but already you can see the Night Goblin Warboss taking some hits from the pistols and from the Steam Tank. Now the Spirit Leech goes off, and yeah, already starting to lose a bit of HP. We'll grab some cinematics as the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are getting in here. He did manage to catch these Pistoliers with the Tormentor Sword, but that is completely fine. Between, the Spirit Leeches and the guns, we've been able to do about half HP damage to the Warboss. And here comes Mr. Balthazar Gelt with the final cheese mutation, just to finish things off here. And it's not going to quite finish off the Warboss, but the cannon doing some really good damage. It is going to do enough HP damage to rout him off, and you can see the balance of power has tipped in my favor. So, yeah, a few of you guys had been worried about Lord Sniping in the comments when they initially announced the Amethyst Wizard, and I was a little bit skeptical. I do think that the Greenskins are kind of a worst-case scenario faction to have this happen. Most other factions have lords that can regenerate. They have lords that you can potentially hide. Even with the Greenskins, there are potentially some tools you could use to take down the casters, counter-firing them with, like, the Vindictive Glare and some other things like that, but definitely it's going to be a tough situation for the Greenskins, certainly. Against other factions, I don't know how well this will actually work in practice. Other factions that can challenge you in the air, have good range tools, there are definitely some factions that I don't think it'll work super well against. We'll have to kind of wait and see, but this is definitely the one matchup where I would think this would work the best, just because of the nature of the matchup here. You can see the Empire troops holding the line against the Goblins. The Empire Knights are going to get a nice rear charge here. Lance through some of those Goblins, start to clean them up relatively quickly. Obviously, this melee fight will go in the Greenskins' favor, but I'm perfectly fine to let the state troops and the Free Company kind of duke it out for a little bit here as the Empire Knights clean up some units in the back line. You can see the Orc Boar Boy Biggins having taken some damage. The Knights charge through and get onto the Orc Error Boys. Orc Error Boys are decent in melee. They're not going to wilt immediately like, say, Goblin Archers would, but it's still going to be a really rough time for them. Getting charged by these heavy cavalry, you can see they already have taken some pretty extreme losses. The Goblin Warboss had come back from routes, so I wanted to try and spy him if I could. The Amethyst Wizard is going to go ahead and chase him off, and we're going to bring Balthazar back over to the other part of the battle. You can see in the main line, if we kind of take an overarching look here, Free Company providing some Overwatch fire for the Steam Tank, which has taken some damage, but Empire in the front line losing some units, winning some other engagements. Obviously, where the Empire Knights are supporting, state troops will do much better. But, yeah, Free Company holding for the time being. This engagement over here, we're going to drop a Searing Doom right on top of these Savage Orcs and Orc Boar Boys and everything. Does some really good damage. And, of course, the cannon fire coming in as well. And, yeah, you can see, obviously, the leadership looking pretty rough here. The Night Goblin Shaman trying to overcast a spell, I believe. Was that a Vindictive Glare? I'm not 100% sure. But, regardless, with the loss of leadership, of course, the Greenskins are going to be in a pretty tough situation. So, yeah, continuous charges from the Empire Knights. And we're going to bring this unit up and around the flank and kind of collapse this way, just to try and keep from blobbing up too much. You want to try and spread out and engage on all fronts if possible. And yeah, these poor Orc boys are not too long for this world. We've even got some Regiment of Renowned Gobbos mixed in there. Looks like the Warlords boys, perhaps. Yep. Their armor sundering will help a bit here, but obviously getting routed off by superior shock cav charges, and that's pretty much going to be game. I mean, we might still have a few holdouts here. The steam tank going to be coming forward. Maybe in melee, maybe it'll shoot. Looks like popping a shot there. The steam gun opening up, and the terror of the steam tank moving forward. You can see Balthazar and his buddy here. His new dark apprentice, the Death Wizard, sort of watching the battlefield from above, just cackling evilly, you know. Have to say, I really like the unit model for the Amethyst Wizard. Looks absolutely amazing. Is it balanced for the Empire to have Lore of Death? You know, originally I would have said it's probably going to be fine, and I still don't think that you'll see this too often. This is, again, kind of me specifically trying to break this as much as possible against a faction that really has no way of countering it. So again, in most matchups, I really don't think it's going to be an issue. I do think, however, that the Greenskins need some love, and that's really what we should take away from this more than anything, is not that the Amethyst Wizard is necessarily overpowered for the Empire. I think the jury's still a little bit out on that one. But the Greenskins need some love, man. They need something to counter that Lord sniping. I just think, in general, most of their Lords could use more HP. Having Wa as a melee-only conditional mechanic means they're extremely vulnerable to recharge time abilities like, oops, apologize about the thunder, guys. It is a little stormy outside. I don't know if you could actually hear that, but, forgetting the abilities, Arcane Unforging is one of them. There are a number of abilities that cause extra recharge time. Obviously, neither of these do, but still, just the Lord sniping in general. So I definitely think that the Greenskins do need some love in that department. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. In terms of the army breakdown here, Empire Knights cleaning up a whole bunch of kills. The steam tank doing what was necessary, kind of acting as a big distraction piece. Also taking a few high-value shots. Of course, Balthazar, with his Searing Dooms and the Final Transmutation, able to rack up 54 kills, which for a caster is actually pretty impressive, all things considered. I really, really like Lore of Metal, even outside of cheesing people with Final Transmutation. The spells are just super, super useful. Lore of Death is likewise quite useful, but yeah, the Greenskins just need some love. I would really love to see, from the lore, there is a Lord... Oh, what's his name? I'm not super familiar with the lore. Grom the Paunch, I want to say. You guys correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I want to say that he's like a goblin lord that has regeneration, from what I've heard. Something like that would be great for the Greenskins to have. I think they're one of the few factions that actually doesn't have a lord with regeneration. It's kind of standard kit for most factions at this point. Grimgor getting successive buffs is nice. I still think he needs, 5,000 plus HP, just because he's an absolute meatbag. I'd probably also buff his melee defense up to 55 rather than 45. It would make him extremely powerful in melee, but I mean, he has a hard time catching anything anyway. And on that point, I really don't think you need to add too much to Grimgor by the way of abilities. Really, he should just be able to pound anything out in melee, and that's kind of his lore, right? But to help with him getting trapped and just not being able to keep up with stuff, I would really like to see them give him an ability similar to Skaven's here. If we look at Queek, he's got this Verminous Valor. The regular Warlord has it, I believe, as well. Gives an explosion, a little bit of a speed, and a leadership debuff. I mean, you could just copy and paste this, obviously, and change the name, because he wouldn't be a vermin. But, Grimgor's Valor or something that gives him an explosion, gives him a little bit of a speed debuff. Maybe he doesn't even necessarily need a leadership debuff, but to have that explosion to knock back enemy infantry and then get a bit of extra speed to chase something down would allow him to actually get in contact with high-value targets, which is honestly one of the biggest issues right now, because, I mean, most high-value targets are faster than him. They can just run away, and then, he's not dangerous at that point, so... yeah, and just across the board, like I said, I think all these guys need more HP, especially given that they are, they need to be in melee to recharge this. They're supposed to be, a fighty race. Very durable, very tough, but they love fighting, and just as it is right now, because they don't have access to healing, and their HP pools are, on the whole, relatively low. Like, even Wurzag on his pigs only 3,500. I mean, you look at Azag the Slaughter, 4,200, up on the Wyvern. If we have some comparisons here, I mean, 43 for the Warlord on the Bonebreaker. Ikit on his Doom Wheel up to 41. So, I mean, I guess pretty comparable to Skaven, but still, you know, they're orcs. They should be much more durable than a Ratman, right? Just, you know, kind of my opinion. It would certainly help the Lord sniping if they just had more HP to try and get through. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of talk, especially back in the days of Warhammer 1, when Spirit Legion Magic Lord Sniping was super OP, about some kind of, you know, scroll of shielding or dispel scroll or something like that. But, you know, it'd be tough to potentially implement something like that. It would be nice if WoW maybe gave like a magic resistance buff or something too. You know, just kind of spitballing a little bit here. But if WoW was active, then you could get, you know, because like it'd be like the Greenskins, almost like in 40k, you know, where their mass numbers and their, you know, big angry wah like generates this huge wave of psychic energy, right? What if that was the case for Total War Warhammer as well, and, you know, that manifests itself by giving them a bit of magic resistance, meaning that their innate belief in their own power is overcoming their opponent's magic, right? I think that would be loreful and cool, and it would help a little bit against the Magic Lord sniping. Again, like a 22% timed magic resistance while WoW is active isn't going to do a ton, but it would help in a number of other situations as well, and would just generally be a cool and flavorful addition in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this battle and don't hate me too much for taking that build. If you do like the sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.